Yes, there are punch seasons where our blinders are up and on and we are moving forward full steam ahead. But in the day-to-day, we have a lot of decisions that we get to make about how we spend our time.
Hi there, I'm Vanessa Kaiser, a ranch girl turned social worker, business leader, and now entrepreneur. I'm passionate about diving into organization, leadership, personal growth, and efficiency. Around here, we call it rhythmic living, that continuous cycle of assessing the season of life that we're in and creating habits, routines, and processes that serve us best. This show is for the busy, the dreamers, the tired, the go-getters, those who want to live fully, grow steadily, and feel inspired each day. Welcome to the Inspiring Heights podcast.
As a planner nerd, one of my all-time favorite types of podcast episodes to listen to are when people are talking about how they plan their days, their weeks, their months, or their seasons. Not that my plan always then mimics theirs, but something about hearing them unpack their own process gives me inspiration and motivation to move intentionally forward in my own planning. This year, as I am paying close attention to the seasons of the earth, winter, spring, summer, and fall, and what those different seasons mean for my daily, weekly, and monthly rhythms, I decided at the start of each season, I will spend one podcast episode talking to you about how I am planning the season ahead. This isn't going to be all about me and my plan. It will also include some tips and insight that I hope you can take away and use as you too plan for your seasons. Hey you, can I ask you something? Does your to-do list ever feel like it's running you instead of the other way around? Do you find yourself wishing for more time, less chaos, and a whole lot more peace? Trust me, I've been there, and that's exactly why I created the Productivity Playbook, Strategies for a Harmonious Life. This course isn't about cramming more into your day. It's about creating a life that actually feels good to live. We'll dive into time management strategies that work, build routines that bring peace instead of pressure, and tackle those overwhelming moments with confidence. Whether you're juggling work and family, managing a business, or just trying to stay sane in a busy season, this course is here to help you take a breath, take control, and build a present and fulfilling life. Ready to take the next step? Head over to inspiringheights.org/courses and grab your spot in the Productivity Playbook today. Because a harmonious life isn't just possible, it's waiting for you. Let's do this together. I'll link this all for you in the show notes. Now, I know winter is started like just shy of a month ago, but let's be honest. Winter feels different after Christmas, doesn't it? Like life is different, the schedules are different, and the snowfalls just don't always feel quite as cozy and romantic as it does when the tree is up and the Christmas lights are glistening all around us. That leads me to tip number 1. This is a really good reason for keeping Christmas up a little ways into winter. It helps keep the snow and cold just a little bit more cozy. Now let me tell you, I am a huge, capital H-U-G-E fan of winter. Like it might just be my favorite season of all. I love the cold. I love the way that the white snow contrasts with the golden dried up ground and creates a beautiful landscape picture. I love to wrap up on the couch with a good book and the fake fireplace on the TV and a piping hot cup of coffee on a cloudy, snowy day. I am also a fan of sunshine, and on weeks when the dark clouds roll day after day after day, I can definitely start to crave vitamin D, something fierce. I also love winter because it is a season of rest for us. We are home more. We schedule less things. We have less chores to do outside. So our extra time and attention can be turned towards playing strategy board games and reading good books. Winter is unlike any other season on the homestead, and it is one to be savored. I mentioned this recently on social media, but it's worth saying again in case you missed it. My love for winter has been lifelong. I have always been a cold girly. I will take 20 degrees over 85 any day. But winter, truly being a season of intentional, scheduled, and practiced rest, that's new. This, in fact, is only our second year of really leaning into this new normal. For us, before homestead life, winter was just another glorious season in which we moved full steam ahead. There wasn't much to slow us down because, we're from the Midwest, so as long as the wind isn't blowing, -20 isn't too bad. But last year, we moved to the homestead in the winter, and it was the very first season that we got to experience here. And it was exactly what we needed. We were coming off of an incredibly full year and we were bone weary. And winter provided the rest that we so desperately needed. And then spring, summer, and fall came. And I realized winter is different. And as such, my plan going into winter doesn't look the same as it did going into fall or the Christmas season, or how it will going into spring and summer. This year, in this winter season, I am focusing my attention on the following 5 pillars: indoor life-giving projects, embracing new and old hobbies, planning activities and travel thoughtfully and supporting them well both before and after, using my time wisely, even when that looks different than how I thought it might, and setting aside intentional time to learn. Let's dive in with indoor life-giving projects. Like I said before, this time of year we spend a lot less time outside. One, because it's harder to sit on the porch when it's -10 degrees outside than when it's 45 degrees above. Number 2, because the days are so much shorter than they are in any other season. I know living a homestead life can sometimes make it feel like we have such different lives than some of our friends who live in the city, but in this instance, it really isn't that much different. If you are a city dweller, your days are also short. And if you live where there is winter, they are also cold. So, see, it's really about the same. This gives me a really good excuse and honestly motivation to tackle some indoor projects that get slid to the back burner during the rest of the year when the long days call our time and attention to outdoor activities. I actually started to jot down a list of some of these projects in October. Some are short, 1 day or less type things, and others require more time and some significant amount of materials and supplies. A little secret about me: most of these projects are things that I plan on really enjoying. Sure, they need to be done, but they're not gross jobs. They're like fun jobs: organizing, labeling, tidying. But I also know if I try to tackle them all next weekend, I will easily turn what should be a delight into a daunting task. So one of the ways that I am being intentional in my planning this year is I am spacing these projects out over the course of the next 3 months. Spring activities, and quite frankly, weather for that matter, won't really start showing up much until mid to late April. So I have some time to check these items off of my list. By spreading them out over the course of the entire winter season, I'm not only giving myself time to enjoy doing the task, but I am also giving time to be thoughtful about gathering the needed supplies. Winter tip number 2. Remember, keeping Christmas up always into winter was tip number 1? And you thought I was kidding, but I was dead serious. Winter is a great time to knock off some of those indoor house projects that have been piling up for the past year. Yet often with those house projects comes a hefty price tag. Instead of either A, going into debt to acquire the materials, or B, skipping a house project altogether because you can't see the money yet, consider making a plan. Map out the project and gather your materials cost information. Shop around, look for deals, and plan around any upcoming holidays where the materials might be on sale. Decide what's really going to be in your budget for winter 2025. Start setting the money aside, and then, before you know it, that house project will finally be done. Pillar number 2, embracing old and new hobbies. Hubby and I love to play strategy board games. Actually, I might go as far as to say I am quickly inching my way close to being a die-hard strategy board game fan. Our latest game, Great Western Trails, took all of 3 hours and 45 minutes to complete on our first playthrough. And I will tell you, it was exhilarating. Last winter, we played so many games, and I thought it was just going to be like this new normal for us. And then we planted a garden, and gameplay went out the window as quick as snow melts on a 60-degree day. So, I learned a valuable lesson last spring, summer, and fall. Our board game playing season is now. It's winter, and we would be wise to soak it in because it only comes around this time of year. I am also diving into a new project this winter, quilting. At least that's my plan. I used to be the person who would choose about 10 new hobbies or projects to master in a year, but I promise you they never all came to fruition, and usually my focus was so stretched to so many different things that nothing happened. So this year, I'm sticking with just one new thing that I will work to teach myself to do. Oh, and I'm keeping my mom on speed dial, for those emergency, like, how do we thread this sewing machine again? Type questions. Winter tip number 3. If you are looking to work on a hobby, either old or new, in the winter season, it can be helpful to consider time slots in which the hobby fits. How long do you want to spend on it at a time? How many times a week or a month do you want to pick it up? Figuring these things out can help bring your want to into an actual action. Pillar number 3, planning activities and travel thoughtfully and supporting them well both before and after. I learned a lot of lessons in 2024 with starting a new business and living a homestead lifestyle. Of some of those lessons, one of them was that a lack of both seasonal and annual planning would leave a path of chaos, hurt feelings, and stress. In my course, The Productivity Playbook, I talk about the misconception that we so often fall into, which is life will slow down when. I speak about this misnomer with some authority because I have lived it for so long. In fact, I am still trying to weed out the roots of it in both my heart and my planning. So oftentimes it's subconscious, but it is very much there. Once I have this many clients, then I'll have more time to da-da-da-da-da-da. Once I have this many courses launched, then I won't have to spend as much time creating, and I will be able to use that time to do da-da-da-da-da-da. Here's the truth, though. That thought pattern tricks us into thinking that we aren't in control of our time right now and that the only things vying for our time are happening right now. You and I both know that after Christmas, we focus on Valentine's Day, and after Valentine's Day, we focus on Easter, and after Easter, it's summer, and after June, it's the 4th of July, and then we're basically at Halloween and Christmas again. I use the holidays as an example, but it's true in most every area of our life. Yes, there are punch seasons where our blinders are up and on and we are moving forward full steam ahead. But in the day-to-day, we have a lot of decisions that we get to make about how we spend our time. So in this season, hubby and I sat down and we created an annual plan. Where do we want to go? What do we want to do? And roughly about what month should we plan to do those things? This then allowed me to come in behind and backfill with business-related items. When launches and big pushes will occur? When will we drop this thing and announce that thing? And the practice of doing that pre-planning work, that was the cement of my on-ramp to all activities, both business and personal, that we have planned already for 2025. Another big lesson that I learned in the previous year was that on and off ramps can mean the difference between looking forward to travel and dreading it. If you spend any time around Inspiring Heights, you know that I am all about finding tools and processes to make life just a little easier. What can I say? I'm obsessed with efficiency. So here's the real scoop. When I first started seeing freeze dryers online, I dismissed them. Too expensive, too big, and what would we even use it for? Seems like an awfully big investment for some freeze-dried bananas. But as time went on, I saw internet friends using their freeze dryers in amazing ways. like creating soup in a jar that just needs water to transform into a delicious and nutritious meal on a busy night. My curiosity grew, and last December, we decided to take the plunge. Let me tell you, this is one purchase that I have zero buyer's remorse for. The freeze dryer has been a game changer for meal prep, saving money and reducing waste. For example, I can buy a 20-pound bag of onions, chop them all up at once, freeze dry them, and not have to cut another onion for actual months. Sure, freeze drying might seem like a homesteading trend at first glance. I thought the same thing. But after using the Harvest Right freeze dryer, I am more convinced than ever that it is a tool almost anyone could benefit from. Whether it's batch prepping ingredients or creating meals that just need water to be ready, this machine makes life simpler and definitely more efficient. If a freeze dryer sounds like the solution for your busy life, check out Harvest Right. They have options to fit different needs and budgets. Visit my affiliate link, affiliates.harvestright.com/2639, or click the link in the show notes. If you're thinking about getting a freeze dryer, now's the time. To help ease the winter blues, Harvest Right is offering up to $900 off, making it easier than ever to get started. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Just head over to affiliates.harvestright.com/2639 to learn more and grab your discount. I'll have all of this linked for you in the show notes. Here's some on and off ramps to travel that I'm focusing on this winter. What do I need to take on this trip or to this gathering, and how long will it take me to prepare? Once I have an answer to that, I actually schedule it in my planner so that I am not stressed as the time approaches because I have intentionally carved it out already. Number 2, what work needs to be finished before this travel or activity? This helps me to look monthly, weekly, and daily at my to-do list so I don't feel stressed when the time comes for me to be out of the office. Number 3, what will I need when I return? This is so dependent on what the activity is and how long I'm going to be away from home. Will I need to do laundry, clean the house, reset my schedule and my plan, and unload the car and make some bread? Or do I just need to get a good night's sleep and jump right back in the next day? And finally, how can I make coming home easier? This often looks like making time to tidy the house before I go, having a freezer meal or a super simple dinner planned for the first night that we get home, and having all the laundry washed, dried, and put away before I leave. Please hear me here. I am not being dramatic about what travel looks like. I'm just being honest. I have found that in the past year, when I try to be breezy about traveling, I am often a grouch on both ends of the trip because breezy doesn't really work for me with travel. And instead of fighting against that little learned fact about myself, I'm just choosing to embrace it. Winter tip number 4. Decide once how you will feed yourself and or your family on the first night back after you get home from a trip. Maybe it's a specific meal that is super simple for you to put together. Perhaps it's always having a freezer meal ready for when you return, or maybe it's pizza delivery. Whatever works for you. Deciding this one time can take the pressure off when you're already pulling together a lot of things as you prepare to be gone. And also, having this plan in place will be such a gift when you return home. Pillar number 4, using my time wisely, even when that looks different than how I thought it might. When you own your own business and you work from home, there can be a lot of things pulling on your attention. Work, the laundry, making breakfast, lunch, dinner, tidying the kitchen, cleaning the bathroom, organizing the pantry. I mean, I could literally go on and on and on. We were all here in 2020, right? You get me. This may sound puzzling, but I would contend to you that one of the most complicated components of being a business owner and a homemaker at the same time is figuring out how to spend your time. As a recovering workaholic, this is no small dilemma for me. I could easily pour all of myself into work, and let my family fend for themselves. Ask my husband, he would tell you about it from experience. But that's not my heart's desire. I long to make good and deep impact and serve the world through my business. And my family is my number one priority. This conversation about how we spend time, when the kitchen tidy comes first and when I'm just using it as an excuse to not drill down and get busy in the office, it's been on repeat with my business accountability partner for almost a year. See, when you come out of a 9 to 5 job where you work for someone else and the expectations on your time during the day are very clear, it can take a lot of undoing to figure out what your own rhythm and schedule is. For the longest time, I felt like if I was not in my office by 8:15 and I didn't stay in my seat until 5, I wasn't working hard enough. Here's the truth of this whole conversation. I still wrestle with it, like almost daily. I'm still learning and pivoting and trying new things and pivoting again when those don't work. I am still learning where my return on investment is the most in regards to my time. And one of the ways that I'm doing that this winter season is to intentionally do what I can when I can. Here's what I mean. My typical office day this time of year starts between 8 and 8:30 and goes until 4:30 to 5:30, depending on the day. But sometimes at 3 p.m., I can't focus and I start to spin my wheels. And at that time, I have two choices. I can sit at my computer and I can spin my wheels, or I can get up and go full load of laundry and start dinner and come back with the mental block gone and ready to finish up the task at hand. I have worked so hard to keep work and home separate so that I can ensure that each were getting what they needed from me. So instead of getting up from my desk when I was spinning my wheels, I would just keep sitting here, keep spinning, keep trying, and let's be honest, keep wasting time. Because after all, it was work time, not home time. But since we're being honest, let's talk about how much time is wasted in the workplace when we hit the exact same creativity block. No one in any setting is at max productivity 100% of the time. It just doesn't happen. So, for this winter season, I'm going to stop fighting it. When I can't concentrate on what I'm doing at work, I'm going to go do something that serves my family, even if it's 10 a.m. and my work to-do list is long. And I'm going to do it without guilt or shame. Winter tip number 5. Make a list of productive but semi-mindless activities that you can do when you hit a brain block in your day. If you work in an office for someone else, consider what you can do to reset your brain while still making a contribution. This may include things like organizing your inbox, tidying your desk, updating your planner, getting up and getting a fresh cup of coffee, or dropping in to say hello to one of your colleagues for a quick minute. If you work at home, consider what tasks you can do to help reset. Laundry, dishes, vacuuming, making the bed, whatever that it is. Here's the deal. We all have brain blocks. How we use the time when they occur has a direct impact on how we feel about our days. So let's choose wisely. And finally, pillar number 5, setting aside intentional time to learn. In 2024, I took 3 courses, got certified as a professional life coach, and read 37 books. As I was reflecting on the year and making plans for the new one of the things I told my husband was that 2024 made me fall back in love with reading, and I can't wait to bring that love into the new year. As a new business owner, I have experienced the vast amount of stuff you have to know to make things run. As a one-woman show, of course made possible by the endless support of my sweet husband, I have to know and keep track of everything from accounting to the creation of ads to writing courses to the integration of different platforms and softwares and literally everything else in between. There is no shortage of things to learn, trust me. Here's the thing about learning though. We can acknowledge the significance of it, but making the time to do it is a whole other thing. That's why I am heading into this winter season determined to set aside a specific amount of time each week dedicated solely to learning. I can't grow if I don't learn. So the time? Well, I would say the ROI will be pretty decent. friend, I hope you will take time to plan specifically for this winter season that we're walking in right now. Here's to learning and embracing the season at hand.
And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Do you have questions, comments, or insights on today's content? I would love to hear from you. You can DM me on Facebook or Instagram, or head over to our website, inspiringheights.org, and click on the Contact Us form. I will link all those locations here in the show notes. P.S. If you haven't already, I would love for you to leave a 5-star rating and a quick review of the podcast. This helps get our content in the hands of new listeners. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter and follow us on social media for rhythmic doses of inspiration. All right, friends, take a deep breath and be inspired where your feet are. Bye for now.